Paranormal Punches is part of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com for more great podcasts.
Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey, friends. Welcome to Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
Hey, thanks for the solid long pause, Nash. Always making an entrance.
It was a long pause.
It was
I'm
terrible.
sorry. I don't know what it is.
It's terrible.
It's the Captain Kirk in me, I guess.
Well, besides that, we are here with Jim Wosochlo. Jim, did I get that correct?
You're close.
Wosochlo?
Wosochlo, that's correct.
Wosochlo. I figured I'd mess it up. Jim, thank you so much for coming on the show and hanging out with us. Now, you wrote a book about a topic we covered a little bit ago about Matthias Schaumboch, who's considered the first serial killer in the United States.
Yes. I just completed that novel.
Awesome.
And give us the title.
It's called Appalachian, and the subtitle is Schaumboch's Tavern.
Ooh.
Now, you grew up in that area. This is Hawk Mountain in Pennsylvania.
Yes. I grew up about a mile north of there.
Okay.
And the scary thing about it is that I didn't actually know that all this happened until I was talking to a friend of mine about it. And then I was like, really? That happened up there? So I started researching it because I have a background in archaeology in Pennsylvania. I used to be State Society for Pennsylvania Archaeology president in Harrisburg.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So my interest of checking out and digging into old things got the best of me, and I couldn't believe that this actually happened there, and this guy actually got away with this all.
Yeah. Why don't you, if you don't mind, just tell everybody about the history of this tavern and everything, and we can just work our way into what Matthias Schaumboch did. Okay.
Back in 1789, the tavern was built by Jacob Gerhart. In his day, there were a few German farms around the area, and what happened was during the French-Indian War, Indians allied to the French came down in the 1750s and were burning and destroying all the homesteads along, at that time, was the frontier. And Jacob's whole entire family was slaughtered by the Indians, and he hid underneath a bed as the house was burning down. And he got out through a window and made it to a neighboring farm for protection, and he survived that. And the problem is that it kind of mentally messed him up forever, and he built that tavern on top of Hawk Mountain and in 1789, and kind of lived there like a hermit. They said that he just wasn't right after the French-Indian War. And then 2 owners later is when Matthias and Margaret bought that tavern in 1850.
Now, and that place also had a lot of Native American, raids on it also?
No, I don't. At that time, they didn't raid on the tavern itself because it wasn't built yet. But the whole area around there, like the Red Church up there between Norwichburg and Deer Lake, that was burnt down twice by the Indians in the 1750s. And they had kind of like a hideout rendezvous point above the mountain above that church called Sculp's Hill. And they raided out into Pine Grove and burned down Adams Farm. And also the mill out there towards Frisbee, Kimmel's Church. There was an old mill there. They burned that down too as well. And I believe that's where they took 2 girls captive. And they eventually got one of the girls back out near Carlisle later on after the French-Indian War was over. So there was a lot going on, dreadful things that happened on the Blue Mountain. I mean, it's a beautiful, peaceful place, but you wouldn't think that all this had happened around there.
Yeah, so Matthias, he bought did he buy the tavern from the old owner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and in 1850, when he purchased the cabin, Well, the tavern, they believed that, everything was all over with. It was going to be a peace and calm in the area now. But after they didn't know that it wasn't over when he bought the tavern.
Right.
Now, all right, so Matthias has this tavern. It sits on top of the Hawk Mountain, correct?
Yeah, it does.
Which now, is there like a route that people are taking that leads them past the tavern to get to another town somewhere? Why is this a spot for a tavern?
Well, back in those days, you had the railroad and you had the canals. And that was a route to get up over the top of the mountain, besides using the railroad and the canals, to the mines, because anthracite coal in Schuylkill County at that time was the only anthracite available for industry, and that's why the canals and railroads were made. But at that time, you also had problems with the Molly Maguires controlling the coal mines, an Irish organized crime. And they were pretty upset with the government about that's when Abraham Lincoln enacted the draft. And it was taking away their workers to fight the war. And they had an uprising there. And obviously they made a film about the Molly Maguires as well. But they were trying to control the canal systems and the railroads. And the government had like bounty hunters or hired like police officers to watch the railroad, and the canals were fading out because they're being out competition, with the railroad. But no one, a lot of people used the railroad, but this was a quick, easy way for like lonely travelers and peddlers to get to Schuylkill County, to Berks County. So that's why they would go past this route.
Okay.
I had a much, much shorter explanation, much less detailed for why they built a tavern right there. And it was very much like, well, everybody needs a tavern. So This road was highly trafficked, and I could use a little beer or something like that. I could use one right now, for Pete's sake. Where's my tavern here?
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with your explanation before mine on that one.
I actually put a lot of the local history and historical facts into the book as well. So that makes it really good and detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, when people were traveling this route and stopping, they were getting far more than just a beer at this tavern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were. Yeah, Matthias had a way of getting them a little drunk, let's say. But he was actually very cunning and smart on how he chose his victims. He would pick the people that were like traveling by themselves that no one would miss, because back then a lot of new immigrants are coming into the country and they are traveling west and north. And as they came by, no one's going to miss them. But
right.
they had a lot of things that he wanted to have, because he wasn't making no money up there.
Yeah, I imagine you're a lonely soul making your way across the country, and who's to know if you get nabbed at this tavern, or if a bear gets you on the road, or some other disaster befalls you on the route, right?
Well, yeah, back in those days you had bushwhackers. You also had what were called canal bandits, because what was happening in as the canals were dying out and the railroad was taking over, and there was too much authority on the railroads trying to watch Molly Maguires. So then bandits decided to go elsewhere and were actually raiding taverns and things like that. And businesses, and they call them canal bandits. And
wow.
I do have that written in one of the chapters where Matthias has to deal with two canal bandits.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And that chapter is called Ham and Bean. Ham and bean for a reason. So, but when Matthias died in 1879, what happened was Anne and Margaret Turner bought the property after that, and they found all 4 wells on the property full of human bones.
Oh God!
Jeez. Yes. Some were butchered, some looked like they could have been cooked, and he mostly put all skulls down in the wells.
Wow.
And that's one of the things, like you talked about he would target people that wouldn't be missed.
Correct.
And then when we talked on the episode, he was, he'd murder them and then turn some of them into, sausages he would sell to other patrons.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Wow.
He was very good. He got away with it because he was very choosy on who he chose as victims, and he did it over a period of time. And then when he was almost caught, he could quit. He stopped murdering people when he was almost caught.
Wow.
Because he wasn't just murdering them. He was not only murdering and feeding them, but he was also selling their possessions, like as a trading post kind of a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He almost got caught when a peddler selling army surplus, like from the Civil War. He took the same items down to Reading, Pennsylvania to sell them. And the people in Reading recognized these things from the peddler that was selling them weeks before.
Wow.
So he sent the authorities up there, but they couldn't find anything. So they dropped them. And it was after that, it was all rumors and everybody would talk about it. And I know you mentioned, I don't know if it was you, Nash, or Mark, on the last episode that you talked about this, that you said they would send some kind of vigilante or authorities up there. Mm-hmm. I do have that written in one of my chapters.
Okay.
And that they did send a bounty hunter up there from the railroad. Well, authority hired like not a sheriff, but a deputy.
Right.
That they do send up there. But he was very smart in how he hid his murders. He would actually dismember the bodies and spread the smaller dismembered parts throughout the property for scavengers to take away. But he put most of the skulls down the wells because, an uneducated person walking through the woods sees a skull, they know it's a human. Mm-hmm. But when they see bones in the woods, that's a deer. Mm-hmm. It could be anything.
Right.
So that's why he did that when the wells were full of skulls.
Now,
I go ahead, Alicia.
I was going to say, I have a question because
Sure.
Did his wife know what he was doing? And if she did, why didn't she say anything?
I have a feeling she had to know. How could she not? It's only a 2-room little tavern.
Right.
So I did have it in the book that he got away with it without her knowing it for the first 4 chapters. But after that, well, I don't want to give away the book, but she knows about the murders after that.
Okay.
Yep. Because you could drive past this tavern today on your way to the sanctuary and drive past it. The sanctuary asked that I write the book and state in the book that is a private residence and there's to be no trespassing there.
Right.
But one thing that I don't know if you guys added it when they buried him, because they're afraid of people taking keepsakes and things because someone already stole his headstone.
Jeez. Oh.
Yes. I think that happened about 10 years ago. Someone stole his headstone.
Jeez.
So
let's hope it's not haunted. They took something negative home.
Yeah, there's rumors of hauntings and stuff going on up there.
Yeah.
So
now his wife, Margaret. So when he opened the tavern, were they already married, or did he meet her somewhere in from owning the tavern, and then he started killing? Or
I have a feeling they were already married because during the research, it gave some vague details on their marriage, if they had kids. I did write in the book that they did have a son.
Okay.
But there's no record of that, and there's no record of the murders themselves. But he did confess on his deathbed that he killed 11 to 14 people. I got 2 different numbers on the research. It was 11 to 14 people. But when he died, they were all thinking, he died of dementia. It's a bunch of bull. So they let it pass on in history until William and Ann bought it. And then when they found all the skulls down there, it was more than 11 to 14 people. A lot more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was thinking she had to know.
She had to
know.
Especially if he's making homemade sausages and they don't have any livestock.
Right.
I mean, she would have to at least question that.
Right.
Well, that was his way of, I guess, making money because they couldn't grow anything up there because it's too rocky for fields.
Mm-hmm.
And you only have one room to rent out for like $1 a night. You're not making the money. So that's what he did. He would scan over his victims like Hannibal Lecter, all cunningly like, and then get them drunk. Or, well, I have all kinds of ways that he does the murders that can be done in the backwoods. So, but
yeah, I was curious if he had like like the Bloody Benders. They'd come out, I guess, from behind that curtain and whack a person over the head with a hammer. Did he have a method he used every time, or did he, what? How did he kill people?
I mostly have an axe that he used. He mostly used an axe, but I have him killing people in ways like such as poisonings, and he obviously living up there. People have guns, stabbing. I have a bunch of ways. I don't want to give out too much in the book, but all I can say is that when you read the book, it's all 5 stars on Amazon books right now and sold everywhere. But it's all it is really something with how he does this. The book is kind of like Reverent and Silence of the Lambs in one.
Okay.
Wow.
So
now, are there like, I just envision from killing these people that he's got like just stashes of stuff. Stuff or money, or it's like in that terrain, I think it would be amazingly easy to hide stashes of who knows what, whether it's money that he made from the trading, or if he liked some of the keepsakes, or do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know. I have to think of it's like a not like a treasure hunt up there, but I imagine wandering up in that area, you would find random, if you were looking for it, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Are there pockets of stuff laying around?
Do you think you're going to stumble across caches of his items?
Of stuff.
I do have that written in the book where he does have a stash of coins, gold teeth, and things like that. And so you can see where that's going. But as to there's nothing ever been found. There was really no archaeology that was done there. And to protect Hawk Mountain Sanctuary, I listed in the book that was fabricated by me too, speculated that there was a stash there. So no, that we don't have treasure hunters there. It's a sanctuary. You get arrested if you get caught poking around there.
Yeah. Please don't go messing around.
Yeah. Okay. So word to the wise, don't go walk around Hawk Mountain. I'm going to go to the pokey. Gotcha.
Yep. So
now,
but most of the things he even the horses to guns to any valuables, he took them down and sold them all. He wouldn't target just Reading. Maybe 1 week he would go to like Pottsville. Oichburg was the county seat at the time. He would go places like that, and there would be people. Oh, really? That's a discount price. I'll buy it right there. And there was no receipt of sale, and in those days, and that's how he did it.
Price to sell, baby. Let's move the merchandise.
So. But yeah, it's quite an interesting story.
Yeah, and to touch a little bit on the supernatural, the paranormal.
Oh yeah.
So there's I think we talked about in the show that he heard voices in his head, and some think that's what made him kind of get murderous.
Right.
Yeah, he would talk to nothing to trees, talk to his horse mostly, things like that. And like he was talking to someone that wasn't there a lot. He did die of dementia. And he also was a strange individual. He was very big too. He was a big guy and he was kind of intimidating for one. But as people passed by and the rumors spread, people would look and stare or even say something or heckle. And he would come charging out of the tavern with an axe in his hand or a hatchet. And scare him off. Yeah. And I got that all in my research too. So everybody thought that's the crazy guy on the mountain. You don't want to go there kind of thing after a while.
Yeah.
And Lish, didn't you talk about the land up there being cursed and possibly he was like possessed by some evil spirit?
I can't remember if I actually did say that, but I imagine it's a possibility.
That you said that?
Yeah. I do know that the next owner that bought the house, he believed it was haunted by a dark, evil spirit. So I believe that there is something that's maybe haunting the area and maybe attached to him. I don't know.
There's rumors of a headless Matthias walking around the mountain.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yep.
His head's probably in the well.
Right.
Probably one of them.
Yeah.
I just envisioned that the energies that came there came from not Matthias, but from the previous owners, the original owners of the house. After seeing like the massacres that they witnessed, that it was said that they were pretty messed up in the head after that. That
was Jacob Gerhart.
Mm.
Right. That they were in that cabin for so long by themselves, and it was just getting more and more and more, just going into this dark place.
Right.
That it kind of seeded the area a little bit. And then you have Matthias coming, and he's spending his years, bulking up, to eat a lot of protein, doing a lot of like mountain hiking and rock climbing, and really like, bulking up and putting on the pounds just in case. And he gets a little testosterone angry from time to time. Well, then after that, you have this culmination of just people dying, their energies being trapped because of what was already there. It's almost like a generational issue that created this haunting that has just endured. It's just, I think one led to the next, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a sickness.
Yeah, but you start off with him eating, getting swole, working out.
He's doing a lot of push-ups. He's lifting weights. He's got to cut down trees for fire. He's got to move rocks. He's really doing basically strongman events and eating a lot of protein, a lot of sausage, trying to keep his sodium down because he knows it's not too good. So he makes a long trip, does a little cardio, and comes back. And I just think it's a tragic tale of something gone wrong. And this guy was just eating and feeding people and bulking up for no real reason,
Jim, I assume that as the missing chapter from your book, correct?
Well, actually, he does do some hard labor things in there, and the way he gets some of the people, like no one had money back then either, and no one trusted banks either. But some people I have come in there helping him doing some physical labor around the tavern, like digging a new outhouse, splitting firewood for their payment for staying there. But it also, that gave him a bond between that and the peddler or the traveler to get close enough to do what he wanted to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I said it at the right at the beginning. I said he's considered the first serial killer in America. Does the book have research on how we arrived at? I think this is the first serial killer.
Yes, it's the first serial killer of the United States that wasn't caught.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool. All right.
Because I'm sure they had some issues going on over in New York City at the time and down in Philadelphia, but this was one that was he was never caught and very cunning at doing it. You thought he was insane, but really he was very intelligent.
That's what it sounds like to me, is that he was pretty clever and really thought out his actions. Kind of cherry picked the people coming through there. And then when the pokey was after him and had a feeling that they were coming, he would head down the hill and get out of town for a little while. It sounds like that. It wasn't like a rage scenario where he just started killing people left and right, but he actually thought about it and thought it through, and except of course where to put the heads. But besides that, I mean, what do you do with the heads? I mean, really?
True.
I mean,
when they found a lot of the bones and skulls that were in the wells, then they started to do a thorough investigation of the property, and that's when they started finding other bones, like there was a burn pit, a burning trash pit, and things like that. They found bones in there and scattered throughout the mountain area on the property. Mm-hmm.
So
but they didn't. go ahead.
I was going to say, when Matthias died, was his wife, her name was Margaret?
Morgan, yes.
Was she still alive at the time to be questioned about what he said on his deathbed, or she had passed before him?
No, she was alive, but she said she knew nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there was no proof of anything.
I wonder if they tried to hide their child to try to, because we talked about it earlier about having a boy, a son, or, and then she being questioned about all of this that happened, going, you know what, I don't want this legacy to live on, and let me change the names, get rid of the records. And not that there could have been much in the way of records up there because you're on a mountain by yourself, but.
Yeah, but they did have a census then, and there's nothing that showed in research that they had children. So I speculated one.
Yeah, nobody does the census. Come on.
Yeah. If you don't, you get how many letters in the mail now? Huh?
I know.
That's
right?
exactly right. No, I just envision him trying to protect that the mother's trying to protect her child as much as she can away from this legacy. Once she found out about it, if she truly didn't know and found out after he had passed about what was happening, that she did everything she could to try to shelter her the next generation from any kind of negative legacy that lingered on.
When Matthias passed away, she up and left, and that was it. No one heard anything. Mm-hmm.
That's because she knew it all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes. But the authorities at that time, they heard rumors of everything going on up there. And when they discovered that it was mass murders that happened up there, they kind of cleaned it up and brushed it under the rug and let it disappear into the history, but it didn't.
Wow.
And that's why real estate agents got to disclose something.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I must say, though, I'm pretty impressed with the individuals because it's a private residence now, according to the sanctuary. I mean, how do you live in a house like that when all that happened there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to talk to them. There's got to be some strange things that go on.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be. Yep. So
I wonder if it's a place like what is it? The guy from the Ghost Hunters who bought the Indiana Hell House and put it in the warehouse.
Oh yeah.
If it's kind of something like that where somebody bought it and it's a private owner and nobody lives there, and they're sure as heck not going to be moving in or putting anything there, but it's still considered a private residence, but nobody's there planning on going there,
I'm sure they have a bad dream once in a while living there.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding.
So,
Jim, this book sounds extremely fascinating. The story was fascinating when we talked about it episodes ago. Actually, somebody from that area, Brody's the one he came down to visit when we lived in Lancaster, told us all about it, so we had to look it up.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating. So when you reached out that you wrote a book, because I feel like it's not a heavily covered topic.
No, it's not.
Not a lot of people know about it.
No, they don't. I mean, it is written here and there in some small history books, but no one ever did a novel on it before. And it was fun doing that because there was no records on how he killed the people. So I got to speculate how he did those murders. And it is, I must say that I'm getting a lot of people throughout the whole United States that are giving me good reviews and trying to get a hold of me for autographs for the book right now. And it's only been out 4 weeks.
Wow.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your archaeologist side play in when you're researching facts? Did you want to go dig up anything on the property? Anything like that?
Well, my family farm is only like a mile and a half north of this location.
Wow.
And I have an extensive collection of colonial and Native American artifacts I found on a farm since I was young. And, well, being archaeology, even though I'm considered amateur because I don't have a degree in archaeology, I don't want to dig on federal or state land or sanctuary.
Right.
I mean, I'd love to see what's there and see what's in them old wells, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, grab your fedora and your whip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Nash.
I was going to say the question that I think that really is the biggest question regarding this particular subject is, what was he using to stuff the sausage in? Was it like a cheesecloth, or what? How was he doing the sausages? Because
no, you can get casings anywhere.
Yeah, but he had to go to like Reading, and that on Reading on horse. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of like sausage casings. Or was he harvesting the casings from people? Or I don't know. There's so many logistics to be made about making this sausage.
Actually not. No? I mean, back then everybody had to learn to do everything themselves, from building a house to butchering, and it was passed down through generations.
Oh yeah. And, okay.
You can go down to any market in Norrisburg, which is only 3 miles away, and buy the spices you need for sausage. And they sell casings back then, like in a pickle or like in a saltwater. Okay. And you can just purchase that stuff. The hard, expensive part is getting the meat.
Right. And the mustard, and the giant, like barrel, like kegs almost, casks almost of mustard, because you got to have a little mustard for your sausage. You got to dip it in there just a little bit, because that's how it tastes good that way. And the different kinds of mustard. And I'm just thinking of the logistics behind this sausage making could have been really, really difficult.
Yeah, you're starting to scare me. Are you trying to see if there's a recipe to make Schaumboch sausage?
Right.
No. I'm just saying, we had this debate before about eating this sausage, and I just want to go on the record saying I would not eat the sausage.
No.
I even if it did have really nice mustard, some good stone ground mustard, or
well, that's the thing. Back then, you wouldn't know. You'd stop at the tavern. You were hungry. He had food.
Actually, it's like documentation of like those headhunters down in New Guinea and things like that. That human meat is a lot like pork, exactly, almost like pork.
Wow.
So if you're eating the pork chop, unless you're that good on anatomy and could see that there's a different bone structure in your pork chop, you don't know you're eating human meat. It's just like pork. And Matthias kind of knows this and explains this in the book.
Okay.
Wow, interesting. Nash always brings it. Excuse me. Always brings it back to food.
I know.
I'm just saying it probably looks a lot like pork, except for the fact that it looks like a human hand. I mean, the hand would give it away. I mean, you don't want to like.
Well, I mean, what are you talking about?
I know.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of how weird it would be.
I think you need to eat dinner.
Sounds like you're hungry.
Jim, this book sounds really interesting. Let everybody know where they can find it.
You can get it anywhere at Barnes & Noble's, Amazon Books. They also have ebooks there. I also have a website. It's WosochloBooks.com. And you can purchase it anywhere, actually.
That's fantastic. I'll make sure I put links in the show notes so everybody can check it out. This is a great story. Now, I didn't even look. Is there any like videos on YouTube? I feel like this is very untapped.
Yeah.
So it's awesome that you wrote a book about it.
I do have a video, but I didn't put it on YouTube on how he used some of the weapons in there. Like I throw an axe, and then I show a flintlock Hawkins rifle that he used. But in a few weeks in February, I'm going back to Pennsylvania to shoot a teaser trailer for the book. And it's going to be like a movie trailer, but for the book. And that'll be on YouTube and my website.
Oh, very cool. Yeah,
cool.
When it's up and live, let me know. I'll drop it in our Facebook group so everybody can check it out.
Okay, I can do that. So, I'm actually getting approached by other individuals about this becoming a film too. So,
that's super cool, man.
Yeah, that was actually one of my thoughts. I was like, has anybody ever done a movie on this whole topic? And if they have, like, do you know what the title is? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Well, I have. I was talking to an agent today that was actually, they were thinking about. They are writing a screenwrite for it right now, and it's going to be based off of my novel.
Wow.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Are you gonna act in it?
Yeah, probably. Because I was a background actor in a couple films.
Okay.
Very cool. Any little horror films or anything like that? Because this is going to be kind of like a horror film.
No, it was Creed 2, 21 Bridges, and Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
The prequel.
Oh, that's great. Creed 2 was a great movie. Would you just a background actor in that?
Yeah, I was a background actor. I was a Russian general.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Right.
Did you get to meet? Did you get to meet the actors at all?
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren. He's a pretty cool guy.
Oh, that's killer.
Yep.
All
and
right.
Michael Jordan, he's good too.
And Sly, did you get to meet Sly?
Yeah. Sly was sitting in front of me the whole time.
Very cool. I'm gonna have to look for you now in that movie.
You don't see much of me in that one because I was kind of in the background. But 21 Bridges, you'll see me in that one.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're just in the background in Creed 2, I guess you didn't get to use like a Russian accent or anything.
No, it wasn't a speaking role. But I'll be in the trailer as Matthias that we're doing in February.
Oh, great.
Cool.
So I got to let my hair grow long, I guess, and get the beard and everything. And then I'm going to do the confession in the deathbed.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. Jim, I can't thank you enough for hanging out with us. Very fascinating story. It sounds like the book is going to be extremely fascinating. I can't wait to read it myself. Liz, she's a massive reader.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to check it out, give you a review.
All right.
Yeah, I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Nash. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Alicia.
Yeah.
You were quite
Hey,
welcome.
you're welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this book. I mean, it sounds like there's what we covered, and even just talking now is just a drop in the bucket for what you have in this book, in this novel. I mean, it sounds like you've done your homework, and it's definitely worth a read. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
And just to clarify for Nash, there is no recipes in Jim's book.
Yeah, a little oregano, a little salt, pepper. There you go.
I mean, it's a small ask. I'm just saying.
Jim, thank you so much. This has been awesome. You have a great night, and hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah.